So we notice that different people come to the religion through different doors. Some because she happened to pass by and see a Buddhist center here, and she come. Okay? And our brother Eung said he was introduced to Dhamma talk, okay? And slowly he built up the faith. Okay? Now most of us actually start with blind faith. We don't know what Buddhism is. Right? You're not born with that knowledge, okay, of Buddhism. Okay? Either you're born in a Buddhist family or a Taoist family, whatever you call it. Right? And most Chinese families, they follow certain Chinese tradition. And most of them are Buddhist because on their birth cert they are registered as Buddhist. Right? And because of that they call themselves Buddhists. Yeah? And a lot of Buddhists actually come to Buddhist centers or temples only once a year during Vesak day. So what they do is they go and make some offering, bye-bye, and then go back there. Expect to the monks to bless them, to give them good luck, okay? All this. Okay. So most people, they start with blind faith. Or people say, oh, this temple very good, You go there, you pray to Buddha, you ask, you can get whatever you ask. So, our sister here, she think, there's blessing, when she comes to a temple. So we always start with blind faith. Sorry to say that. But as we go along, as we come to know more about Buddhism, then we transform this faith into wisdom. Right? So today I'm going to talk about from faith to wisdom. How we can make use of this initial faith that we have and cultivate it, okay, and develop it so that we become wiser. The ultimate aim of knowing Buddhism is to develop wisdom. That's your final goal. Okay. If you look at the Buddha image in front of you, what does it represent? It represents three things. Okay. First is compassion. The Buddha has great compassion. Secondly is purity. The Buddha has great purity in moral precepts and so on. And foremost is wisdom. Okay. He's called a Buddha because he has developed that wisdom, okay, to teach the Dhamma. Okay. And what's the Dhamma? The Dhamma is actually reality, or truth, or universal law. Right? It's not something that is invented, but is discovered by the Buddha. Yeah. So, we can transform this faith into wisdom, but step by step. It's a gradual path. Yeah? So, there are different types of faith. First is, we start with blind faith. Yeah? Sometimes people come to the Buddhist center because their friend asked them to come through introduction. Yeah? And that's because you trust your friend. You don't trust your friend, you won't follow. You won't listen to him. Okay? So your first faith is in your friend. Okay? So if you're good friends, they bring you here. And you start to be informed. Many parents, they come because they want their children to learn the Dhamma. Not because of them. They want the children. But because you want to put your children in the Dhamma school, the society requires you to attend an induction course. To introduce to you the society and also a little bit about Buddhism. Right? So that is the first step. Remember on the first day when you attend the induction course, you're asked to chant Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, Dhammang sarana gacchami, Sangham sarana gacchami. And it's in Pali, you know. And many of the people do not understand what they are chanting. What is Buddhang sarana gacchami? Okay, I take refuge in the Buddha. Okay, Dhammang sarana gacchami, I take refuge in the Sangha. Sanghang sarana gacchami, I take refuge in the Sangha. So again, what does it mean by refuge? Okay. So for the first time, the inductee will not know what is going on. He will not know what is going on. So you got to be informed. Once you have knowledge, then you know. So there is faith based on reason, understanding, and personal reflection. Okay. So like what our brother said just now, he went to listen to Venerable Dhamma Udo, right? And he started accumulating knowledge about Buddhism, about what the Buddha teach. From there, he developed a faith that is more firm. Okay? That means he knows what Buddhism is. Right? Then from there, if you want to practice more, you practice your precept, okay? Practice generosity, and also practice meditation. And from there you experience what the Buddha teach. Okay? The Buddha teach about the Four Noble Truths. Okay? And many people actually do not agree with the Buddha that life is there's suffering in life. Because everybody have their own comfort zone, they're enjoying themselves. Now, as long as they have sensual pleasure, they do not believe that there's suffering in life. Okay? But when you practice, then you understand. Okay? Suffering does not only come when you don't have your basic need. Okay? Stress is also a form of suffering. When you go to work, it's quite stressful, Just go through the traffic jam. It's quite stressful, really. And when you go to work, you have a deadline to meet, okay? You got so many things to take care of. If you're a good boss, never mind. You got a lousy boss, you suffer more. Okay. So when we practice, the more we practice, the more we experience. Okay, especially when you do meditation, then you understand how the mind works. Even though you have certain defilements like anger or this, and anger is no good, but it keeps coming back. Why? Because of our past karma. Right? We bring along the defilements, right, from our previous life. So every one of us have a store of karma, right, from our past. So as we practice, we experience, okay, the Four Noble Truths, then our faith becomes what we call confident faith. That means we are confident that what the Buddha teaches is correct. Okay? It's something that we can experience. And if you combine all this, okay, once you have confident faith, okay, and you develop more and more, your faith becomes irreversible. That means people cannot shake your faith. Okay? For example, when other religionists come in and try to convert you, right? You're very firm in your faith. You're not swayed by what other people say. A lot of people, especially just before they die, they change their faith. Because their faith is not strong. And when another religion comes and say, oh, if you believe in our master, okay, you can be saved. You'll sure go to heaven. So take it or not. Okay. So if your faith is not strong, you'll take it. It's a shortcut some more. So once you have this irreversible faith, you can also become an Arya. A Sotapan does not change his faith. Have full faith in the Buddha, in the Dhamma, and the Sangha. So faith is always the beginning of the path. And because of faith, there's energy, or viriya. Viriya to practice. So today you are here to listen to Dhamma talk. It's because you have faith. If you're no faith, you won't be here. You'll be somewhere else, drinking coffee, enjoying your breakfast with your friend. So it gives you energy to come here. Energy to put your whatever you learn into practice. And it leads to morality, your precepts. If you have faith in the Buddha, what he teach, then you have faith in keeping the precepts. You have faith in practicing generosity, and also devotion. So what you're doing this morning is actually a devotional practice. Many people see this as a ritual. Yes, it's a ritual. Right? Bowing before the Buddha is a ritual. Okay? But if you understand that ritual, it is beneficial to us. Okay? So when we bow before the Buddha, it's because we respect the Buddha. Not because we pray to the Buddha. We're not praying to a stone, we are actually respecting his virtues. What are his virtues? Remember the 3 virtues? Sudah lupa. What are the 3 virtues I mentioned? Lagi? Purity. Wisdom. So you have to develop your faith in the Buddha by knowing his virtue. So we bow to the Buddha image is because we respect the virtues. I explain the virtue later. And Sada is the foundation for developing meditation and wisdom. So if you have the faith in the teaching especially, then you will put in more effort to practice. So in the graduate training sutta, Sammana Phala Sutta, Digha Nikaya 2, faith is mentioned as an entry point. So from faith, actually here 1 and 2, faith as you come first before you hear the Dhamma. Usually faith comes first. Like faith through different Dhamma doors. It could be to an introduction by a friend. It could be a Vesak day and suddenly you pick up a free publication. You go back and read. You're inspired by what is written in the book. Then you come and listen. You listen to the teaching. From there you gain more faith. And because you have faith, you undertake the moral precept. So that's why you chant Buddhang Saranang Gacchami first, right? Faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, followed by the 5 precepts. Then, when you practice the 5 precepts, you're actually guarding your senses. So the practice of the 5 precepts is to guard your senses. And 5th is to practice mindfulness and clear comprehension. That means you start to practice meditation. And after that, you've been content with little, abandoning the 5 hindrances, so that you can develop samadhi. So you develop concentration from there. And when you have concentration, you have clear comprehension, and you see things as they truly are. That is, you see the characteristics of non-self, impermanence, and suffering. From there, you develop the wisdom and attain liberation of the mind. So don't underestimate faith, Faith will lead you to final liberation. Without faith, no go. You will stop. So the nature of the Buddhist faith is very different from dogmatic belief. It encourages the investigation. It's based on reason, personal reflection, and the experience of noble disciple. So the Buddha did not ask his followers to come and believe. A lot of religions say, believe, come and believe. right? And as long as you believe, you will get the benefit. But the Buddha did not stop there. After expounding the sermon, he encouraged his followers to try it out. Okay? To try out, and it benefit you and the others, then you accept it. And Buddhist faith is called Saddha. Saddha in Buddhism is confident trust arising from understanding, not fear. So some religions say if you don't believe in their master, you'll go to hell. Okay, that's instilling fear. So the Buddha did not say that. Whether you go to heaven or hell does not depend on whether you believe in the Buddha. It's whether you believe in goodness. That is more important. If you believe in the law of karma, okay, goodness gives good result. Evil deeds give bad result. So you don't have to fear if you do a lot of good. So whether you believe in a creator God or not, it doesn't matter. Okay. So important thing is goodness. Okay. So the Buddhist religion is based on belief in goodness. So in the at first you have faith in the Buddha, and then the Buddha's enlightenment, and belief in karma is also very important. And that's basically what the Buddha teach. Okay, the Four Noble Truths and the law of karma. So our Buddhist faith is based on the triple gem, or refuge in the triple gem. Okay. So we take refuge in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and Sangha. Right? And why do we take refuge? Human beings are sort of fickle-minded. They're not sure what they want. So they need some kind of security, okay, or something safe. Okay? So the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha is something that we can take refuge in or take shelter in. I like this example, you know. I say all of you are now in a plane. And the pilot says, our engine has failed. The plane is going down. So everyone will panic, right? So the Christian will pray to Jesus Christ. The Muslim will pray to Allah. The Buddhist will pray to Kuan Yin or Gautama Buddha. And then what about those people who have no religion? Do they still pray? They still pray. Pray to who? Pray to whatever higher beings, any supreme being they can think of. Because their life is at stake. Okay? They know they're going to die any minute. So they need some kind of refuge, something to cling on to. So human beings, even though some people say, I can do anything, I'm above everything, but still when it comes to life-threatening situation, you still need a refuge. So a refuge is very important. You feel safe. You feel safe. So the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha are our refuge. But before we understand what this refuge is, we must understand what are the three things, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Okay? The Buddha, is our teacher, our self-awakened one. And the Buddha evolved through many, many lifetimes. He's a human being. He's not Superman. He's a human being. But through practice, he becomes enlightened, okay, by practicing the virtues, the 10 perfections of wisdom, morality, generosity, truthfulness, patience, loving kindness, renunciation, perseverance, determination, and equanimity. Right? So where can you see all these 10 perfection? Upstairs, huh? You know, all our rooms, they are named after the perfection. So next time you go upstairs, you look at the name of the room. And why is Buddha so powerful or so great that so many people follow his teachings? It's because the Buddha declared that gate of deliverance is open to all. The Buddha did not say that Buddhahood can only be attained by him, or enlightenment can only be attained by him. Anybody can. So, if you practice, you can also become a Buddha, can also become enlightened. Because the Buddha is just a title, okay? A title given to a person who has attained enlightenment. So, if you attain enlightenment, you'll be called a Buddha. He raised the status of women, okay? Now, during the Buddha's time, women have no place in society. They only stay at home. But he even ordained women to become nuns, to practice under him. He pointed out cruelty of sacrifice of animals. Now, in those days in India, there's a lot of these rituals, of sacrificing animals and offer to the gods, right? So he forbade all this through the practice of the 5 precepts. The first precept is non-killing. Right? Even today, there is still practice. Some people pray to certain deities, they slaughter and they offer. He taught noble ideas of selfless service. Grant complete freedom of thought to his followers, except not merely from his words, but from discovery the truth in them. Okay? So in one of the sutta, he told the Kalamas, you don't believe just because it's passed down by tradition. Don't believe because it's accepted by the majority. Right? Sometimes when the majority accept, it may not be good. So democracy sometimes is not good. So you have to think, you have to investigate. Okay? If you hear of a teaching and you practice, it's good for yourself and not good for others, don't accept it. If it's good for others, not good for yourself, also don't accept it. It must be good for yourself and good for others. He comforted the bereaved. He ministered to the sick and transformed life of criminals like Angulimala. So just now you also chanted the 9 virtues of the Buddha. Itipiso bhagawa arahang samma sambuddho. Vijja charana sampano sugato loka vidu. Anutaro purisa dhamma sarati. Satta deva manusanang buddho bhagavati. Okay. So these are the 9 virtues of the Buddha. Okay. And these are important because the Buddha is the perfect and worthy of homage. Okay. Because he has great virtues. So when we take refuge, it's better for us to take refuge in something that is virtuous, right? Something that is pure. Right? Just imagine if you follow a teacher, and your teacher don't practice moral precept. Right? You won't respect the teacher, right? So the Buddha is pure and perfect in that sense. Okay? Omniscient, the Buddha has special powers. The Buddha has psychic power, but he doesn't use it all the time. He can know, who is enlightened, who is not enlightened. He can even read the karma of beings. So every day the Buddha will survey the world. And if he find that there are people who are ready to be ready for enlightenment, he will go there and teach him. So the Buddha has this psychic power. He's omniscient. He's endowed with clear vision and good conduct. Okay, moral precept. Well done, or sometimes translated as well gone. the Buddha is gone because he's entered into Nibbana. Well spoken, the speech uttered by the Buddha is always pleasant. Wise in the knowledge of the world. Loka vidu. That means the Buddha not only know the human realm, he also know about other realm, like the heavenly realm and the hell realm. Okay? So you may not be able to see this, so you just accept it. Okay, with faith, not with confidence yet, until you can see it. Fearless trainer of untamable ones, teachers of God and man. Even the gods come down to earth and listen to the Buddha's teaching. Enlightened and showing the path to enlightenment and the blessed. So the Buddha actually shows us the way. But there are certain things the Buddha cannot do. The Buddha cannot practice for you. The Buddha cannot save you from rounds of rebirth. Okay? The Buddha can only guide you. The Buddha cannot change your karma also. So when people come and pray to the Buddha, change my karma, cannot. Right? You have to change yourself. Because we come with a store of karma, good and bad. Okay? Today you're born as human being. It means that you have done a lot of good deeds in the past. Right? But at the same time, you also have a lot of a store of bad karma. Right? Which may ripen, which may not ripen. Okay? So sometimes it ripens, sometimes it doesn't ripen. Okay? So when bad things happen, we cannot blame other people, but it's because of our previous karma. Right? So whatever we create, today, it is creating new karma for our future. Right? So when we take refuge, we seek no other refuge because other refuge are worldly and are subject to greed, hatred, and delusion. Whereas if you seek refuge in the Buddha is pure. The Buddha has the quality of purity and wisdom. You can learn from the Buddha. The Buddha has great wisdom. So these are the three great qualities of the Buddha. And so when we have faith in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, we develop this understanding that the Buddha is our guide, and we ourselves have this Buddha nature to be enlightened as well. Right? So when we follow what the Buddha teach in sincerity and putting in effort, we can also be liberated. So just like a patient has faith in the doctor before he take the medicine, you must have faith in the Buddha before you accept the teaching. You have no faith in the Buddha, you won't listen to what the Buddha teach. Right? So Sada is often described as a seed that motivates practice. Okay? So first you must develop faith in the Buddha. Okay? So when the Buddha became enlightened, on the night of his enlightenment, he was able to see his own past life. He can see the past life of other beings, and he understood the Four Noble Truths. Okay? So basically what the Buddha is teaching us are the law of karma and the Four Noble Truths. These two are the most important. Okay? And when we chant Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa, Samma Sambuddha means a fully self-awakened one. Okay? That means the Buddha, through his own effort, became enlightened. Okay? And after became enlightened, he teach the people to become enlightened as well. So he was born as a man, but he lived and passed away as an extraordinary man. Right? So he's like us, human beings. Right? And through his training, through his practice, development of his mind, to a highest level of wisdom, he became an extraordinary man, okay, by becoming enlightened. Okay? So we are ordinary people until we become enlightened. Okay, the next refuge is the Dhamma. The Dhamma is actually nothing but universal law or reality, what you experience. The Dhamma exists even without the Buddha. Just like any other physical law, like the law of gravity, is there. Whether you believe it or not, gravity is there. Until one smart person called Isaac Newton, he came and the apple fell on his head, and he's wondering why the apple keep falling down. Right? Then he do some experiment and found that everything falls down because of gravity. Then he come out with the 3 laws of Newton, 3 laws. Can you still remember? The first law, I think, if I can recall, an object will remain in motion as long as there's no force acting on it. So this is a natural law. So other people could have discovered gravity, right? Some Malaysians could have discovered law of gravity, but unfortunately it's a durian that fall on his head. So law of gravity is there. You know, whether Isaac Newton tell you or not, it is there. If you don't believe, you go upstairs and jump down and see whether there's law of gravity or not. So we have to believe. Okay, we believe. Okay. So the Dhamma is nothing but universal law. Okay. So when you have law of karma is universal law. When you do good, you get good. You do bad, you get bad. Okay. Some people say I do good, but I get bad result. Some people say I do bad thing, but I get good result. It does happen. Okay. But the Buddha said that even if you do a lot of good things, okay, some of these good actions do not take effect immediately. So sometimes it is later in our life, or some may even ripen in the next life. So sometimes you do bad thing, but you don't get the bad result because it haven't ripened yet. So for a person who do good, as long as the good result have not ripened, he will not see, right, the good result. Okay? But you must have faith that doing good will give you good result, so that you will continue to do good things, rather than turn the other way. So the Buddha discovered this Dhamma 2,000. Now it's 2,600 years ago, and after he discovered the Dhamma, initially he don't want to teach because he found that it's so profound. You know, the Dhamma talks about non-self. You know, and during that time in India, there's a lot of emphasis on the soul. You know, the Atma. A lot of teachings are centered around the soul, reincarnation, all this, a permanent soul. And he thought it's not easy to change the mindset of people at that time. So luckily, you know, the Brahma, the Brahma knew about it. You know, when the Buddha became enlightened on that day, the whole universe, all the beings in all the planes of existence knew that there is an enlightened being on earth. Okay? So the Brahma knew about it. And the Brahma could read the mind of the Buddha that he don't want to teach initially. So he came down, okay, to meet the Buddha and told the Buddha that there are still people with little dust in their eyes who can still understand the Dhamma. If you don't teach these people will not become enlightened and will continue to be born again and again in a samsara. So the Buddha actually, after that, he surveyed the world. Okay? And he saw that there are some beings who are ready for enlightenment. Okay? So after that, he thought of his 5 friends who were struggling with him, when they were ascetics. Okay? So he walked from Bodhgaya to Varanasi to look for his 5 friends and teach the Dhamma. So after the first sermon, the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, the youngest of them, Kondanya, attained to the first stage of sainthood. Okay, so he's the first noble disciple of the Buddha. Okay, so the first Arya, okay, we call him the first Arya, first noble being, after the Buddha has given the sermon. And later, the Buddha gave another sermon on non-self, Anatta Lakkhana Sutta. And all the 5 became Arahants. So these are the first 5 noble disciples of the Buddha. And that's where the Sangha was established. Okay? They become bhikkhus. Okay? They become renunciate, become a follower of the Buddha. And you have the Sangha. So that's why we have the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha now. Okay, but again, these teachings, they were brought down by oral tradition. Because at that time, you don't have paper, you can't write books, okay? You can't store in a pen drive, you don't have computers. Okay? So everything was transmitted through oral tradition, through chanting, recitation. But during that time, the disciples, they go around India and start, teaching, and more people become enlightened. Okay? So without the Dhamma, people cannot practice and people cannot become enlightened. Okay? So the Dhamma developed, as time goes on, even 3 months after the Buddha passed away, people begin to have different interpretation of the Dhamma, because they are still unenlightened disciples. Okay? Not all the disciples are enlightened. So those unenlightened disciples will interpret the Dhamma in their own way. Okay? And may even distort the Dhamma. So Mahakassapa called a council, okay? A council of 500 monks who are all Arahants, okay? To meet and recite the teaching. So if 499 recite the same and one recite differently, then they just take out the one that is wrong. Okay? So that's how they preserve the Dhamma, through the various councils. First council, second council, third council. Third council was very important because third council is during Asoka's time. Okay? And because of Asoka, Buddhism got royal patronage. When your religion got royal patronage, it's well supported. Okay? And the people, if your king is a Buddhist, all also become Buddhist. Okay? So they follow. Okay? So Buddhism flourished during Asoka's time. That's why you go to India today, you can see the Asoka pillars built by King Asoka in all the holy places. So the teachings were passed down through oral tradition until 80 BC, where it's put into writing. Now the essence of the Dhamma is actually very simple. Do good, avoid evil, and purify the mind. The spirit of the Dhamma is to do good, develop the enlightened mind, and the wish to do good for others and to have compassion for all beings. All the wandering in samsara is because of negative thoughts. Enlightened mind has great love and compassion, which is the opposite of negative thoughts. It's a summary of what the Buddha teach. And the Dhamma is based on his enlightenment and proceed towards enlightenment. Okay? So whatever the Buddha teach is based on what he experienced in order to attain enlightenment and proceed towards enlightenment. Okay? And what the Buddha teach you is only a handful of leaves compared to the leaves in the forest. Because there are so many things in the universe, right? But if he teach all the things, one lifetime is not enough. So he teach you what is essential only. What's essential for you to get out, okay, from the cycle of birth and death. So he teach the most important doctrine is the Four Noble Truths. So the practice that is a practice that gives us a refuge. So if you talk about refuge in the Dhamma, it's a practice that's important. Okay? If you keep on doing good, keep on making merits, that merit will protect you. If you keep your precept will protect you. Your precept is like a fence, you got, everybody, you all stay in a house, right? Not condo. Even condo, there's a fence, say for security. Even house also, you have your own fence. Why do you have a fence? To keep out the intruders, the robbers and so on. Even with the fence, not enough. Okay, we want gated community. Another fence around it. Fence not enough, we want electric fence. So it's safer. So your precept is like a fence, Imagine if okay, let's take an analogy. If you're a fish, okay, in the ocean, you've got a lot of freedom, right? You can swim everywhere you want. If you're a fish in an aquarium, you can only swim within the four glass wall. Or in a jar, So a fish in the ocean has a lot of freedom. You can go anywhere you want, right? But you are subject to a lot of danger. First, you are subject to different condition, temperature. Whether it's hot, the water is hot. Whether it's cold, is cold. The water is cold. So, but I don't know whether the fish will feel it or not. So you are subject to people catching you, fishermen. So if somebody throw a line and there's a worm there, you're going to eat. That could be your last meal. Right? So you are subject to a lot of dangers, Whereas if you're a fish in the aquarium, the owner will make sure that the temperature of the water is just nice for you. The owner will feed you every day. The owner will not kill you unless you are you're not a nice fish, not a beautiful fish. Okay, so you're all well protected, but you can only swim within the four walls. Right? So it's just like your precept. If you keep the precept, you're protected, even though you cannot do certain things. You cannot kill, you cannot steal, you cannot commit sexual misconduct, you cannot tell lie, you cannot take intoxicant. But it will protect you from a lot of dangers. Agree or not? People who kill a lot, what happens? You create a lot of animosity. Okay? People will also come back and try to threaten you and harm you. If you steal from people, okay, you can be caught. If you commit sexual misconduct, worse, you create a lot of social problem. If you lie also, you cheat people, you create a lot of suffering. If you get drunk, it's worse. You can break all the first four. So you're not protected. If we don't have precepts, we don't have virtues, people don't trust you. People don't trust people who don't keep precept. So next time you interview your staff, you ask them, you keep the 5 precepts or not. Virtue is very important. Now, you don't like to employ a staff who always lie to you, right? So it protects yourself, you become you firm, in your character, in your standing if you have the precept. So the Dhamma itself protects ourselves, but it becomes a refuge. So real refuge is to practice and realize. They are refuge to be sought within and not an exterior manifestation. So the whole of the teaching is one mass of flexible method, appropriate generally for different time, place, and most important for different temperament of person. Different time and different place. So you come to listen to the Dhamma, you not only practice within this hall. Just now we do dedication of service. That you may know unwholesome thoughts disturb our mind on this. But when you go back, you must take the Dhamma with you when you go back. And don't leave the Dhamma here. So the Dhamma, when we learn the Dhamma, we must not rely on the teacher, but on the teaching itself. Okay? Because nowadays the Buddha is no longer with us. Right? The people who teach are the monks we invite. Right? And the monk gives you the teaching. So you have to take the teaching as the basis of your practice. Right? Rely on the meaning, not the words. Right? Some translation is not accurate. So some words does not reflect the true meaning of the teaching. Rely on the ultimate meaning, not the literal meaning. Rely on the experience, not on pure academic knowledge. And when you listen to the Dhamma, there are always benefits. One hears what you have not heard before. One clarifies what you have heard before. One gets rid of doubts. One's views are straightened. One's mind becomes serene. So you get rid of your doubts. When you get rid of doubts, your faith will increase. And one way of getting rid of doubt is to ask questions. Clarify what you have heard. Many people make the mistake of, they heard this topic before, they don't want to come. Right? But if you hear it again, it's different, The speaker may be talking about the same thing, but your understanding is different. Because from your practice, you find that you can understand better. Right? The thing becomes more meaningful to you. The first time you hear it, maybe just take it on face value only. Right? But after that, you go back, you suffer. The next time you hear the first noble truth again, really true, I really suffer. So your understanding becomes better. Okay. Then the third refuge is the Sangha. Refuge in the noble order. Great disciples of the Buddha, lay arahants, and you seek real refuge within. So the Buddha, the followers of the Buddha they are fourfold. 4 assembly. One is the monk, one is the nun, then the layman, and the lay woman. Okay, we categorize into these 4. Right? So not only monks and nuns can become enlightened. Okay, many of the lay people who follow the teachings of the Buddha attain, some of them at the first stage of sainthood. So the first stage of sainthood, once you attain to one of the 4 stages of sainthood, you are called a noble one, or an Arya. So when we talk about Sangha also include lay people who are noble one, at least to the first stage of sainthood. And when we look at the Sangha, we look at the noble qualities of the Sangha, of faith, energy, mindfulness, collection is samadhi, and wisdom. These 5 qualities. These 5 spiritual qualities are there for those people who have attained. Their faith is irreversible. Right? Their energy is tremendous. Okay? Once you have this irreversible faith, you keep on doing good. Yeah? You're always mindful, you're always awake, always alert. And their samadhi is very good, their composure is very good. And they have great wisdom also. So we should actually try to become a member of noble order. Okay, even though we are lay people. Many of the monks that come here, okay, they always encourage us to strive to become a Sotapan. Okay? So this is one goal. From a blind faith, you slowly develop to become irreversible faith. And once you have irreversible faith, you are a Sotapana, a noble one. Okay? So these are the things that we chant, okay, Supatipano, Ujupatipano, Nyaya Patipano, which means good conduct, upright conduct, wise conduct, and dutiful conduct. So this is the checklist to check whether you are a Sotapanna or not. A Sotapanna remove wrong views. You got no more wrong views. You got no more skeptical doubts. You are no more attached to rites and rituals. And if you are Sotapanna, the maximum life you have is 7. Okay, it can be 1 to 6. Sakadagami, once returner, reduce craving for sensual pleasure and ill will. And after that, you get one more life in it. Once you reach the third stage of sainthood, Anagami, never returner, you remove craving from sensual pleasure and ill will. And once you become an Arahant, you remove craving from beautiful formation, craving for formation, pride, restlessness, and ignorance. So after understanding what the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha are, let's look at the benefit of taking refuge. So when you take refuge, you reduce fear. You increase your confidence. Because you have confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, so you're not worried. When people tell you don't believe in our religion, you go to hell, don't worry. Right? Because you have the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha with you. You got one only, your God, I got 3. Sun power, 3 jewels. I got 3 jewels with me. They are precious, right? Because they have great virtues. All the 3 have great virtues. You increase your devotion and commitment to the practice. Once you understand what the 3 virtues are, then you put in more effort. Okay? It helps you to cultivate purity of mind. That's our goal. Okay? Cultivation of positive thoughts. Strengthen the practice, calm the mind. It becomes an object of contemplation. Okay? That's why we do the Itipiso chanting. We're collecting the virtues of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha. It becomes an object of meditation. And you can also invoke the blessings, right, on the powers of the Triple Gem. So when you chant Bhavantu Sabam Angalang Rakantu Sabha Devata, the last part is to invoke the blessing of the Triple Gem. So why the Triple Gem? Why not the Buddha only? Why not the Dhamma only? Why not the Sangha only? Because without the Buddha, the Dhamma is not discovered. So you need the Buddha to discover the Dhamma. Without the Dhamma, there's no Sangha. Because if nobody knows the teaching, they don't know what to practice. And nobody becomes enlightened. Nobody becomes an Arya. So there's no Sangha. Sangha means Arya, the noble ones. Right? And without the Sangha, the Dhamma will disappear very fast. Imagine there are no monks. People like us cannot teach the Dhamma because we got work to do, we got job to do, we got family to take care of. There's so many things to take care of. Right? So you need the monks to practice full time. So once they practice, they understand, they attain to a certain level, then they come and teach us. Then the Dhamma will be prolonged. Right? Otherwise, 2,600 years ago, imagine there's no computer at that time, no books. Everything is passed down through oral tradition. So without the monks, there's no Dhamma. Right? That's why the Sangha is very important. Right? The Sangha, especially the noble ones. Right? So, because of that, the three, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, is actually three in one. Right? They are all the same. Okay, later I'll show you. So the importance of the taking refuge is to actualize the Buddha nature. Okay, every time you see the Buddha image, remember that. Okay, you can also be like the Buddha who is enlightened. Place our confidence in our master to know him and to emulate his virtues. Study, practice, and realize the teachings, that the Dhamma. Accept and be inspired by the noble order, and emulate the great virtues of the Sangha. So how do we transform this? Again, is to transform your faith into wisdom, you need to listen to the Dhamma. So what you do here is very important. Okay, every Sunday come and listen. Don't go for your coffee. That one you can do it on Saturday or Friday. But Sunday come here and listen to the Dhamma. And after you listen to the Dhamma, you reflect on it. You think about it. Then you practice meditation. Okay? If you got no time to come here and do meditation, you can join the Zoom. Faith brings one to practice, but wisdom confirms and verifies the truth. So it's because of faith you are here. Okay? And through hearing the Dhamma, you develop wisdom. Okay? So a person who trusts a path in the forest and later walks it will see the destination. So wisdom is the final thing, okay? It's the essence of our practice. Panya or wisdom is direct insight into impermanence, non-self, and suffering. Right? Wisdom frees the mind from clinging and wrong views. Once you have wisdom, you eradicate all your wrong views. That is the quality of a Sotapanna. So in your wisdom, you have no wrong views. At the level of stream entry, faith becomes unshakable because it is grounded in wisdom. Faith matures into certainty, no longer relying on other words. So whatever other people can say to you, what the Buddha says is not true, no. Okay, it doesn't matter because you already have the wisdom. Your faith has already turned to wisdom. No longer blind faith. So faith and wisdom is like two wings of the bird. The bird cannot fly with one side. Right? Both must flap together. So faith without wisdom can become blind faith, blind belief. Faith without wisdom without faith can lack inspiration and warmth. That means it becomes very intellectual. Together they guide the practitioner steadily on the Noble Eightfold Path. So in our practice, how do we develop faith? From faith to wisdom, you cannot just jump like that. No? It must be gradual. So you start faith with chanting. That's why you're asked to chant before you listen Dhamma talk. So you recollect the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha in you. Because that is where our faith is based on the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. Recollect the virtues. Develop wisdom, okay, mindfulness, practice, reflection on impermanence, learning from experience. Okay. Observe how confidence and clarity strengthen each other over time. Right. So once you have the faith, okay, and you go into your practice, then you develop clarity of mind, which is your wisdom. So what you can do is you can recollect the triple gem daily. It's not necessary you come here only you chant Buddhang Saranang Gacchami, you know. You can also recollect the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha any time of the day, while at work, while doing a housework, in between, break. You can also recollect. Okay, you can cut short the thing because you say Buddhang Saranang Gacchami very long, and you chant it so many times. You can cut short it to Buddho me natto, which means the Buddha is my noblest refuge. Okay, Dhammo me natto, the Dhamma is my noblest refuge, the Sangha is my noblest refuge. So what you do is, instead of thinking unnecessarily, a lot of people think a lot, and it stress them out. especially old people. They like to recall the past and then talk about it again and again, repeat it again and again. So in between all this, you can actually do this chanting or read this recitation. It's not a chanting. Udo menato, Dhammo menato, Sangho menato. Very short, I think. Okay. And what does it mean? It reminds you of the... If you recite it repeatedly until the mind is firmly established, the mind has unwavering faith in the Buddha, knowing that only by realizing the truth within oneself can there be cessation of suffering. So it reminds us of what the Buddha has gone through. The mind has unwavering faith in the Dhamma, knowing that only by adhering to the principle of truth can there be cessation of suffering. Right? So the Third Noble Truth talks about cessation of suffering. But we must do something, We must follow the path. Okay, so the mind has unwavering faith in the Sangha, knowing only by following the Buddha's teaching can there be cessation of suffering. That is the Noble Eightfold Path. So when we say this, we internalize the Buddha Dhamma Sangha. Correct? No? It becomes part of you. The Buddha Dhamma and Sangha is within you, it's not outside you. Right? Sometimes we say, I go for refuge. It's something external, right? I go to something, right? I go to the Buddha for refuge. Right? I go to the Dhamma. So it looks as if the Dhamma Buddha outside you. Right? And they are giving you protection from outside. But if you understand the meaning of Buddha Dhamma Sangha, the Buddha Dhamma Sangha are all within you. The Buddha nature is in you. The Dhamma, the teaching is in you. What you experience is reality, your body. When you experience pain is suffering, right? That is reality. I cannot say I have this body, I don't want the pain. I don't want sickness. I don't want old age. I don't want to die. Cannot. Right? You got to experience old age, sickness and death. So the Dhamma is also within you. But that's not the all, you see. You need the Sangha. The Sangha is a path, the Noble Eightfold Path, that brings you out of suffering. So by following this path, you can attain liberation. So liberation is also, you must cultivate. You don't expect the Buddha to save you. You don't expect somebody, when you need something, people will give you. Okay, you've got to create the condition for it to happen. Okay. So karma is about condition, right? You create good condition, then good result will come. You practice, the result will come. So have faith in yourself, have faith in the Buddha Dhamma within you, not outside you. Okay. So this will lead you to wisdom, perfect wisdom. So keep on repeating this, Buddha menato, Dhammo menato, Sangho menato, any time of the day, whether you are sitting, standing, walking, or lying down, you can still recite this. And remind yourself of your faith in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. And in closing, I would say that faith opens the door, wisdom completes your journey. Okay? The Buddhist path is not about staying in the belief, but moving towards direct knowing. And let faith inspire your practice, and let wisdom bring you the liberation.